Hi, Tim.
Hi, Ike. How are you?
Welcome to Loose Lips.
Yes, this must be Loose Lips if you and I are on.
Yeah, well, it is the first time we're not traveling.
Yeah, right? Yeah,
Right?
for quite a while, actually.
Yeah. Well, we'll
Yeah,
got more
so-
coming up, which we'll be
Yep.
announcing soon.
Yep, but I'm back in New York. Actually, I just got back from Florida,
Yes.
from Fort Lauderdale. And
Yes.
that was great. I did a show at the pub. I did my one-man show. Wonderful. I did a reading of Little House on the Ferry while I was down there, and I recorded 2 songs while I was down there, and did a television spot. And so it wasn't a vacation, that's for sure,
Right.
but it was fun. I had a great time. Had a really good time.
Tell us about the songs.
Well, Rob Gould had written a song for me called "Tym with a Y, Not an I."
Love that one.
And I had never gotten that recorded, so I recorded the vocals on that. And then the other one, well, that one's kind of a surprise. I'll tell you afterward in the green room. And
Okay.
I can't say anything publicly.
Yeah, no problem. and then we seen each other Friday night at the Copa.
Yes,
for
at the Copa NY. Yeah.
Yeah, Night of 1,000 Marylands. That was a fabulous night.
That was so much fun. Nick Lyon's birthday.
Yes.
Oh my God, and he loves Marilyn Monroe's. There were Marilyn Monroe's everywhere you looked.
He literally, I mean, the guy's got class. Let's just, first say that off the bat. And the way, and I could tell because it was sprinkled with the Nick, whether it was the little diamonds on the bar or the bejeweled frames for Marilyn and the freaking specialty drinks. Like, come on.
Yes.
Right? It was just so clever. But it was a good night. I wound up hosting with Wendy on stage.
Yes, exactly, for the Marilyn Monroe parade.
Yeah, and we had a blast. And then my show for Christmas is being announced this weekend.
Yes.
It's going to be at the Triad Theater December 3rd, off Broadway, and it's called Mary, What Child Is This? Okay. So I'm excited about that. And we're still traveling with 50 Shades of Gay before the year is over.
Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, we've got a couple things coming up and a couple things cooking. So we could be coming to a city near you, and we will be bringing our sponsor,
Uberlube.
Yes,
which is our sponsor for today's show. Uberlube. You can visit uberlube.com where you can get all these wonderful products that we give out to audience members when they come to see 50 Shades of Gay.
Yes.
Lube.
Yes. And Uberlube is wonderful. It's not just a lube, but it is. You can use it as a lube, or you can use it as seriously for hair sheen to put on your hair.
And it's funny because when we were in Providence, the girls that were there the first night, we told them that. Yeah. Then the 2 came back the second night and we're like, oh my God. I love it in my hair. Like, which means she's not been dating for a long time.
Or if you're like a real whore, you can always put it on your head and
just go down.
Sit on it.
Did you say put a tight spin on it? I think you did.
I'd throw that one out there too.
So if anybody wants to send us some questions, they need advice, shoot us a quick DM or an email. You can find us on Facebook.com/Loose Lips, the podcast, or on email, ikeavellievents@hotmail.com, and we'll do our very best.
Yes, to read your questions on the air. Yeah. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Loose Lips, the podcast.
Woo, woo. Well, our guest is going to do that noise for us, hopefully, that he did so well.
Yes, the cruise ship.
The horn, whatever.
The ship.
That was like, we were dying in that interview. We were dying.
Yes, actually, we met our guest in Boise, Idaho, when we took 50 Shades of Gay out there.
Yes,
we did radio appearances together. This guy, he is so much fun. Yeah, and to tell you just a little bit about him, he began his career in performance improvisation in 1989 at the tender age of 18. He's performed, he's taught, directed, and trained at Second City, IO, The Pack, and Comedy Sports, among many others. as well as festivals all across the nation and occasionally even internationally.
Oh, he's out doing us now. What the hell is this?
Yeah.
Well, not only does he have extensive experience in sketch and stand-up comedy, this 6'5" tall drink of water also has 2 master degrees in education and theater. He is the artistic director for Things and Company and the go-to for HBO Max's hit show FBOY Island. What? Please welcome Robert Long.
Fluff, fluff, fluff.
That's it.
There you go.
That was really easy. You want me to teach that to you real quick?
Yeah, I can't even do the Cardi B okay thing.
Okay. Yeah, I can't roll my R's.
I just go okay.
Okay.
Yeah, the air horn sound is FNA. Just pronounce that as a word.
FNA. No.
Fluff, fluff, fluff. That's the whole thing. That's it.
I think I might have a better chance of doing improv.
In there, that interval correctly.
So if I'm going to use lube in my hair, do I do that in lieu of gel or after the gel? When is it applied?
After the gel.
You finish your hair, you blow dry it, you fix it up, you put a little in there, and you just, you finish it off. It gives that little sheen.
Yeah, gives it a sheen. It gives it a sheen.
Okay.
And I hate to tell you this, Robert, but these really expensive salons are using it.
Lube?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I've had no use for what I got from your show, so it's been sitting around.
And also, if you're just a real jerk, you can put some on your head and stick your head up your ass like you always do. So.
Wow. I wish I was still that flexible.
What he's trying to say is it's good for lesbians too.
Yeah.
And I wish I had 2 women in Providence telling me that I got lube in their hair, but that doesn't happen to me either. But thank you. Thank you for that.
Robert, we met in Boise when we were doing 50 Shades of Gay, which was incredible. We got to do this interview at 2 incredible radio stations.
Those were so much fun.
And the minute we met, all of us, we just hit it off. It was incredible.
And none of us are morning people.
Right.
The X in the river at 8:30 in the morning going, it's morning. And then it was very ebullient and energetic once we got live, and there was a lot of fun bouncing off the walls with you all.
Yeah, totally. And you notice we got vampire hours. That's what I call it. The performers have vampire hours.
Yep. Get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and do radio at 8:30. No.
Yeah.
What's happening? And sometimes, if you're completely buzzed still from the night before, it really doesn't make a great interview. It don't.
Morning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us how you started your career. Do you really want to know?
That's why we don't even ask you on our show until later.
Oh, God bless you for that. God bless you for that. Thank you.
So
we
did meet you in Boise. So where are you from? Are you originally from Idaho?
I was born in the Bay Area, oddly enough. Oh, okay. And I lived in several different. I was born in Oakland, and my family bounced around the Bay Area until I was 5. Okay. So I've lived in Richmond and Sunnyvale. And then my father was transferred. He was a mechanical engineer, and he was How's my audio? Is that okay? Should I be closer? Or
that actually sounds better.
Is that better? I can do this. My father was transferred to a Peterbilt plant in Tennessee. So for a year I lived in Tennessee, and then we moved to the Seattle area because he was promoted to PACCAR, which is the parent company of Peterbilt. And then my parents split, and my mom moved us after 3 years from Seattle down to Bakersfield, California, which is where she was from. And that's about an hour and a half north of LA. So I spent about 40 years in Bakersfield, driving over the mountain, spending a lot of time in LA, especially between 2012 and 2018. I did spend 2 years in Phoenix at one point, and then I moved to Boise in October of 2020.
Oh, so you're a newbie. Damn.
Yep, been here almost 2 years. Still making my way in the world today. Taking everything you got. So Boise is my home for the last 2 years, and I'm still
What brought you to Boise? What brought you to Boise?
What brought me to Boise? It was time to get out of education.
Okay.
And so in 2019, I was still a high school teacher, but I took a drive around the country, and I was exploring, going to visit friends. And it started with a couple friends who live in Mississippi, who wanted me to come visit. And it was two separate friends. So I was looking for places I could play. I was looking for friends I could hang out with. Was looking for places I could teach. Mm-hmm. And Boise was very receptive. Idaho rekindled my love of comic books. And I had friends at the time who said, hey, come do improv here. There's some opportunities for you here. So I wasn't sold then, but then when I decided it was time to leave education entirely, I went, all right, where am I going to land? And Boise had the most opportunity and cordiality and I said opportunity. And so I decided to give it a shot here.
Because I have to tell you, I was very impressed with Boise. I did not know when we went out there what to expect. Yeah. I knew Idaho was a red state.
Yeah.
But I thought we just got to go and represent and do what we do. And we got there. It's very artistic. It's an artistic city. It's very LGBT friendly, college town. It's so cool. Yeah. It's such a cool place.
We were pleasantly surprised. I mean, absolutely. The hospitality, but everybody being so gracious. And the funny part was when we went to go out and party a little bit after the show, we went to the balcony club.
Okay.
And we go up the escalator. We get to the front door. We're like, oh, it says a cover charge. We're like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
And the girl goes, oh, it's $3. They're like, what? You $3? I was like, holy shit.
Out here, it's like 20.
Yeah.
Walking in the door.
And then the drinks were like $4 or $5. I'm like, oh my God, I could totally live here.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that was your experience. I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah. I moved from the red part of California. Joel McHale calls it the red pimple on the blue ass of California. He said. So moving there to here, it's actually been a shift to the right for me. Because being so close to LA, I've got all that. I mean, you're in New York. It's interesting that you had that experience because I'm used to farmers and Hispanic culture.
Yes.
And Boise was the culture shift is a lot less Hispanic culture, but a lot more of the farmer culture. So I've kind of over the last 2 years, I've loved the artistic stuff. I like Freak Alley. It's pretty cool.
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool.
But I'm not all that social. You know, I'm an extroverted introvert, as they say.
I can understand. Yeah.
I like to stay home and binge watch Netflix and play video games and collect comic books. And so it's been very conservative for me. And that's been an adjustment because I'm not. It's weird. I'm too conservative for LA and I'm too liberal for Bakersfield. So it puts me in a very strange place.
So that's what I find fascinating. So now before Boise, so you started improv when you were 18, which is fascinating to me.
Thanks.
So where were you when you were 18 and starting improv, and where was your first gig?
Yeah, was that LA or where?
No, it was in Bakersfield.
Oh, okay.
So Comedy Sports LA started in late 1988. And I could give you a history on Comedy Sports, but Comedy Sports itself starts in 1984 in Wisconsin. And it's founded by one of the guys. He's one of the members of Kentucky Fried Theater, who then made Kentucky Fried Movie, who then made Airplane, and then he left to go start Comedy Sports. And they were growing like a weed in the late 80s, early 90s. So the woman who started Comedy Sports in Bakersfield saw a dress rehearsal of the Los Angeles team, went, I got to figure out how to do this. Came back to Bakersfield, made some phone calls, hooked up with a local talent agency, and put out a call in Bakersfield for local folks who want to try improv. And I had moved out on my own at the age of 17, and my birthday's in February. So in March of 1989, before I had graduated from high school, but during my first semester of college, which is a story in and of itself, I got called to go to that audition. And I was one of the people who was cast. So we did like 6 weeks of workshops taught by James Bailey, who runs Comedy Sports in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And our first gig was in the back. There was a supermarket that had been converted to a video store. So the front half of the supermarket was video store, and the guy who ran the video store had a TV segment called Mr. Movies Movies. Wow. And they shot that in the back half of the supermarket. So, cool. So they had outfitted it as a stage where they could record things, and that's where we were playing, in the back half of the video zone.
That's wild.
Because usually the back half of the videos was the X-rated movies behind the curtain.
Yep. Yeah.
We incorporated those into the gig.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, look at Vanna White. Yeah.
That's so.
Which is funny because Comedy Sports is family friendly.
Yeah.
Totally family friendly.
Now, had you done like comedy at all, or you just kind of happened to fall into that?
Well, I mean, initially I played drums in 5th grade through 8th grade, and I was a choir kid. And then my choir teacher in junior high decided that she wanted to do a musical. So I got cast in the musical, and then that gave me the acting bug.
Okay.
And I was an angry kid. And some would say I'm an angry adult. But I found that theater allowed me the chance to work out how I felt and experience that stuff without feeling just anger, you know? So I kind of transitioned from choir to theater to the point that when I started high school, I dropped my choir class and added technical theater so I could be in the theater for the entire second half post lunch of my day. Wow. And then I had some semi-professional success in LA during high school. I played Sylvius in the California Youth Theater's production of As You Like It, which was produced in the John Anson Ford Theater, which is across the 101 from the Hollywood Bowl. Wow. So now I'm starstruck and feeling like I have something under my belt, and I'm going through my high school training and very intimidated by the LA scene. And so I had theatrical experience under my belt, but not comedy and not improv, except what you do in high school theater.
Right.
And this is before improv is a big thing. And throughout my career, I've kind of championed evolving improv in the high school curriculum. So I was at a point that we barely had any improv training. So I'm coming at it mostly cold in 1989.
Yeah.
At 18, too, it had to be scary.
And because the thing is that improv you've got to be very bold. You got to like walk out and jump off the cliff. You got to without a net, that's the whole point of improv, is just do it and go and don't stop. That's how I see it, is that it takes so much courage.
Thank you. I will pretend to be braver than I am. There's a lot of different forms of improv out there. I kind of look at the genealogy as there's a branch of the tree that is long form, which is scarier. Okay. I absolutely agree with you, particularly when you talk about long form, because there's another branch of the tree that's short form oriented. So this one goes through the Compass and Second City and Del Close. And this one goes through Keith Johnstone and Improv and theater sports to comedy sports. And short form is what we call game-based improv. It's largely what you see on Whose Line Is It Anyway, that's short form. And short form is a little less scary, particularly with comedy sports, because the form is built, I don't want to say to keep you safe, but to minimize the risk of failure. You still have to go out there and be big and bold. But comedy sports and short form in general is a lot more forgiving. Because a lot of it's built for you.
Okay.
Then I could go into, I don't, you can cut me off if you think my answer is too long, feel free.
No.
But there's also a philosophy of improviser that there are 3 types of improvisers. And I don't 100% subscribe to this philosophy, but it's fun to think about. There's ninjas, there's pirates, and there's robots. And the type you're describing that has to be big and bold and brave and go out there, that's a pirate. and the ninjas are the support players who dance between the raindrops, and you barely notice what they're doing on stage. And my favorite players are the ninjas because they often go uncredited, but they're the glue holding everything together. But when I initially started and throughout much of my career, excuse me, I consider myself a robot because I'm very rule driven. And I wanted to learn, all right, what are the rules of improv? What's the structure of each game? What makes each game pay off?
Right.
Where's the stock material? Because there is stock material, particularly in short form, that keeps you safe. And so initially I was a robot. So I didn't feel as brave as you're describing. I didn't tackle my pirate side until about 10 years ago.
Wow. So
I like theater, I like film and television, and those are usually scripted.
Yeah.
Like I have somebody tell me what to say. What am I supposed to say? And
Yeah. That's how I am.
That's quick.
You got to just make the shit up as you go along.
Yeah.
Remember it.
My stand-up, I've always been hesitant to do stand-up because it's a different skill set. It's written and rehearsed, and you hone the material, you find the stuff that works. And I've always felt that if I couldn't improvise my way through stand-up, I wasn't going to do it. I'm like, I want to apply this skill set to that artistic endeavor. So I've held myself to this standard of I can't do improvised stand-up unless I'm as good at it as, say, Patton Oswalt. Because I've watched Patton Oswalt kill a room without material. I'm like, I got to do that.
So amazing.
One of my favorite male comics. I'm driven by female comics, but one of my favorites is Brian Regan.
Yeah,
he is. I am telling you, I could sit there and laugh at this man from beginning to end. He's just it's his facial expressions. He's the whole package.
Yeah.
So where do you like your stand-up comedy when you're up there? Do you have do you talk about current items? Do you talk about what?
Well, I love the King of Clean, so I got to think of Brian Regan for a minute, because then I have to set that aside because I have an ex-girlfriend story that has to do with Brian Regan, and I don't want to tell it. So,
you can tell it here.
Nope.
Well, you know what? What if we improv?
I'm having deja vu right now. I think I've had this experience right here in a dream previously.
Deja vu, I love it.
You're welcome.
Nope, not going to tell it. Nope. Well,
what if I told you I stopped recording?
That's still in the deja vu. We're still in it. I remember this from the dream.
Shoot.
No, I just have to hold to. Nope.
Oh,
I used to love Brian Regan. He was always one of my favorites, and that's where I will leave it. So you asked me what's my material on stage.
Yeah.
Well, I used to do a solo show. I still do, essentially. My solo improv show, which is when I tackled my pirate. That sounds weird. I reached the point where I was like,
at least, right?
I know so many improvisers that are so big and energetic and larger than life, and I'm like, I need to develop that side of myself because I'm used to being in the background and kind of supporting the people around me. My son would argue that's probably my biggest flaw is that I don't get mine first. So in order to develop the pirate, I went, well, all right, let's do a solo show where there's nobody else to rely on. Okay. So I started doing solo improv. And the guy who helped me develop the show and keep me focused if I'm way too far off track.
Nope.
The guy who helped me develop the show said, well, what do you think of when you think solo improv show? And I went, Howie Mandel's crowd work, or John Leguizamo's character-driven shows, or the key one was Whoopi Goldberg's Fontaine, Why Am I Straight? Yeah. Have you ever seen that show?
That's way back.
I'm not sure. Was that the HBO?
Yeah.
Where she had about 8 different characters?
The main one is Fontaine, who is a former heroin addict.
Yes.
Who's now clean and trying to figure out the world around her, which is where the line, Why Am I Straight? Comes from. And it's the whole one where she's talking about Jimmy the Greek, because Jimmy the Greek got fired from CBS for saying our history was making black people stronger and faster. Why are we surprised now? And her line was, did he lie? And so she's trying to figure out, the Fontaine character is exploring all of these social issues through, and it's not Whoopi, it's Whoopi through this lens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what I want to do. Mm-hmm. So when I go on stage, generally I start with, what's on your mind? What do you want to talk about? And the first time I did that show internationally was at Improv Fest Ireland, 3 days after Trump was elected. So I walked out on stage and I go, so what's on your mind? And 3 guys from Utah, the 3 folks that were there to improvise from Utah, they all went, and I went, all right, I knew it was going to happen. Let's go there.
Yeah.
And so I did that show broke down into 3 beats. The first beat ended up being a scene of the first day of kindergarten, because 2 of the Irish improvisers wanted to play, and we were trying to get the 2 Irish improvisers as kindergarten students to trust each other, because they were tattling on each other and starting fights. And I was like, let's just give it a minute.
Yeah.
The second one was a monologue that I called West Texas Voter, that ended with the line, would have voted for Sanders. And then as soon as I finished that monologue, audience goes, okay, so what do we do?
Yeah.
And I went, you do what improvisers do. You listen and you support each other and you figure it out as you go along. Mm-hmm. And somebody left that show going, that helped. That actually helped. So thank you for that. And it was the first time I ever felt like an artist.
Yeah.
There was one time I did crowd work that I had just taped one of those TV court shows.
Okay.
It was Judge Ross, I think.
Oh my God.
Are you familiar with that one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you go back and watch, it's a show about the case is about an upscale movie theater, and one of the ushers spilled strawberry soda on my cream-colored suit on Father's Day. And my character's name was Floyd Browning. And because I don't know if you know it, but about half of those shows are not real. They script those scenarios in advance. I had another one where somebody tried to recruit me to do an actual case on one of them. But I did, the crowd wanted to hear the story of that taping. And so that show was entirely storytelling about my experience on I think it was Judge Ross. When I did it in January, I did a 30-minute oral history of the James Bond franchise, followed by MCU speculation and the Rise of the Midnight Suns. And I have a friend who just went, yeah, your stand-up is your solo improv show. Just do that.
Wow.
And so at open mics, I've just been going up with no material. And it's all right, what do you want to talk about?
Wow.
That's hard.
Cool. That's what I'm talking about. How that takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, that's pirate shit right there.
Thanks.
Yeah, right. That's a butt pirate right there.
Thank you. Does that mean what I think it means?
You bet. So, but I find it's incredible, because even when we were doing the interview at the radio station that day, our tastes are so similar, and I think maybe it's the age range, but what got me going was Whoopi Goldberg's special, because I love the stories, and I always wanted to. When I was a kid, how old was I? God, I was probably that came out in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say Fontaine is like 85, 86.
Yeah, so I wasn't even 20, but I said, if I ever become famous and I'm a comedian one day, because I was following Joan Rivers, I said, I want to be like Mario Cantone, Sandra Bernhard, Whoopi Goldberg, because they were different. They sang, they told stories, they were funny. It's so funny. We all have that similar taste.
88.
88.
Yeah. I listened to all my comedy on cassette tapes.
Yeah.
And I would listen to him over and over and over. And I did a bit recently where I was like, do y'all know who Bobcat Goldthwait is? And everybody in the room did. Yeah. And I was like, what? Everybody in the room? And Jen told me later, well, he's kind of iconic now. But nobody I've talked to since that night, I'm like, do you know who Bobcat Goldthwait is? Nope. Really? And it's so weird. But I mean, yeah, Bobcat Goldthwait is part of my inspiration to how I do comedy because of some of the material he does or used to do.
What about like Sam Kinison or
I loved Sam Kinison.
He was amazing. Yeah.
My go-to is Bill Hicks.
Bill Hicks, I remember. Bill Hicks. But the 80s again, there was those really unique comics that were coming up, like you said, Bobcat. There was Judy Tenuta. There was
just original, originality and creativity. Yeah,
I saw Emo Phillips. He's still working. He opened for Weird Al. He's opening for Weird Al Yankovic now. But I saw him at the Treehouse in L.A. Clubhouse. Treehouse is the upstairs theater where I watched Maria Bamford work out material in front of an audience of 15. But Emo does a regular show at the Clubhouse, or he did when I was living in the area. Stephen Wright, he's another one. Paula Poundstone, Ellen DeGeneres' character comes from the stand-up boom of the 80s and 90s. Yeah.
They were brilliant.
Yeah, I just with Boise, because when we did 50 Shades of Gay, we were at Jen Adams's Lounge at the End of the Universe, which I love that place. Can you tell everybody a little bit about the Lounge at the End of the Universe in Boise?
Sure. The Lounge at the End of the Universe, if you're in Boise, is near the intersection of Vista and Overland on Bank Street. And
right at what's her name, Marie? The sign. There's the big sign.
Oh, she's doing the laundry. The big sign. She's up at the top. Of course, the game.
You turn at the Wells Fargo. Yeah, turn right past the Wells Fargo sign.
I remember that too. Yeah.
Yep. Jen grew up doing magic, and she's a New Yorker. So she was learning the business doing magic with her father, and then she started doing stand-up for a long time. So she's a pro at both of those, and her vision is to do variety. Her LLC is New Vaudeville. So her take on it is variety acts and doing magic and comedy and music and so you see a whole lot of, she refers to it as her own island of misfit toys. So you can see just about anything at the Lounge at the End of the Universe.
There's the two floors.
The basement's being broken up because the basement just closed a production of American Buffalo, and they haven't found a tenant to rent the whole thing out. So the word is they're going to carve it up into offices. So the basement may be going away.
Oh, goodness.
But upstairs going strong. We just did I'm a four-time Pun Slam champion.
Okay.
I think so. And I'm qualified for the finals this December. There's open mics for stand-up. She books national headliners come through. She booked y'all. And you guys are stand up and music and sketch and all sorts of beautiful stuff. So you can see just about anything, and it's kind of unique. There's this push to have a comedy club in Boise, and the Lounge is kind of the closest we have to a comedy club, but there's so much drive to do an eclectic mix of material. That's where improv fits in. And I keep going, you want to book the improv shows on a regular basis if that's the identity you're building. So I'll pitch Jen shows and go, I'd like to do this. And she'll go, cool, let's do that. I like doing stuff that Boise hasn't seen. So my next one in October, we're going to improvise horror movies.
Sweet.
Yeah. Complete with music, and I've got. If you met Matt Voorhees, he plays piano, and Justin Adams is going to provide tech, so it will look and feel and sound like a horror film, complete with camera angles and special effects.
Dude, my dream, and I told Tim about this one sketch I've wanted to do for the longest time. We still haven't done it. I always wanted to do Carrie bloopers. I want to do that so like the pig blood's coming down. Like, are you kidding me? Right? I want to do that so bad.
Can you imagine having to do take two on
right?
Yeah,
clean her up, hit the shower, get the pig blood ready
again. Piper Laurie getting pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was stuck to the wall for real with all those knives. You have to do that twice?
Yeah, what? Are you kidding me? I just had a fucking manicure.
Yeah. I wasn't.
Somebody slaughter another pig. We need more blood.
I love it.
Now, you were telling us when we did the radio interview, and I love this. Explain FBOY Island. Explain what you did with FBOY Island. I thought that was brilliant.
Just a little quick note. I just finished season 1. I started season 2. Oh my God.
Was it as good as you expected it to be?
The ending really blew my mind.
Yeah.
Okay, explain FBOY Island.
Am I allowed to cuss on this podcast?
Sure. Fuck yeah.
Okay, cool. then I won't hold back. How worried are you about me spoiling season 2 for you? I will try not to.
Okay, because you almost did it on season 1.
Just the basic concept of what you did in season 1. Yeah.
Okay. So FBOY Island is Nikki Glaser's dating show, and I adore her. I think she's fantastic. There's 3 women, and there's 24 guys. And the 24 guys are divided into 2 groups of 12. 12 of them are nice guys, and 12 of them are F-boys. And I usually just say fuck boys because that's what it is. And it's HBO. Why don't you just call it FBOY Island? Harder to advertise, I suppose. And over the course of the 10 episodes, each of the 3 women has to wind up with one of the guys, at least in season 1. Mm-hmm. And if they choose, there's $100,000 at stake. And if they choose one of the nice guys, then they split the money and ride off into the sunset together. If they choose an F-boy, the F-boy gets to decide what to do with the money and doesn't have to. He can take the money and run.
Yeah.
And it's a great idea. And then when you come along to episode 5 or 6, when they make them all reveal what they are, you as a viewer are just going, what? What? Yeah. Why would you do that?
Right.
And then some of the women choose F-boys anyway, knowing they're F-boys.
Yes. I was so blown away that they revealed them. I was like, no, this is only like halfway into what's going on here. But the thing that I loved about F-boy was that you didn't know the way it was going to end each episode. They always had a twist.
Yeah.
You know?
So,
and then
what did you do with this show?
Well, we dealt with season 2. Okay.
Okay.
And I'll try to avoid spoiling any of it, but I mean, there's some solid twists in there because.
But what you did, was it a radio show or was it a live? It was a live.
We did a live show reacting to the finale.
Okay.
Of season 2. And it was me and Austin Von Johnson and Bree Jones put together the show. And the last 2 episodes dropped on the day we were doing the show. So Austin didn't watch any of it. So he had not seen a single episode, knew nothing about it. He wanted to react to it fresh. I watched all of it up to a point that Bree and I decided on because Bree watched all of it and watched the finale the day of and was like, because we had to cut it down. We wanted it to be a 2-hour show and we didn't want to show 2 hours of material. So we cut it down to what do we have to watch in order to get it across. Yeah. And so Bree was like, you want to show this and you want to show this and you want to show this while preserving the twists of the final episode so that I could react to them fresh as well. And we were just gobsmacked by some of the things that happened. Like, So they bring back 3 people from the first season. 3 of them play again. Technically 2 of them play again because they also bring back Garrett.
Yes, I saw Garrett.
Yeah, Garrett is the king of Limbro. So anytime one of the F-boys is eliminated, they go to Limbro, which is like a bamboo walled-in compound.
It's not paradise where the nice guys go. Yeah,
and that's where they get group therapy from Nikki Glaser, which is the best part of the show.
Oh my god.
And so Garrett's involved, but 2 of the guys are actually in the competition and make it all the way through. And I won't tell you what happens to them. But the first season, I mean, I think Survivor is a brilliant study of how we work as a species. It's a great social experiment. And I think we're really true as a species to, well, we're going to call the weak who won't do us any good. But then at a certain point, we're going to knock out the people we're jealous of and threatened by, so that we can hold the powerhouses down. So Survivor embraces mediocrity on some level, because somebody in the middle is going to rise and play the game well enough to win. It's not the weakest and it's not the strongest. FBOY Island has this brilliant underlying study of gender politics at its core that I think is what makes the show over the top for me. And the second season has, I want to say it has Nikki Glaser's fingerprints all over it, because I think the first season, I think they walked away from and said this wasn't empowering enough to the women. And so they made some moves in the second season that seek to remedy that. And so the final episode has a Kaiser Soze Usual Suspects level twist that just makes you go, this is the show they're trying to make.
Wow. Yeah. Even the opener to season 2, I mean, even though I just got through the first episode, it does have Nikki stamped all over it. Her climbing over the mountains to get to where she had to go, the mating call, like it was just, she's hysterical. She really
so you saw Lukasz get eliminated, right?
Yes. Well, who was the one that just eliminated himself? I forget who that was.
Oh my goodness. It's been a month since I watched these.
And that's the one I wanted. Like I was like, I'm up there and I'm picking the guys as for myself. Like every guy I picked was an F-boy, which I'm totally fine with.
Okay.
But I wouldn't have picked Garrett because the guy I picked was going to give me all the money. But Jared, the OG Jared.
Right.
That's the one I liked.
Okay.
That's the one I was going for.
So Lukasz was the guy. He's 21 years old. He's homeschooled. He's a concert pianist. He's got shoulder-length blonde hair.
Yes.
And he told at least one of the women that he had never been kissed. And so he's eliminated because Tamaris says, you're too nice, and I don't think you can handle any of us. And then in the reveal, they ask him which one he is. He goes, yeah, I'm a fuckboy.
Yeah.
He goes, I have a roster back in LA and you would fit on it. And he's talking about, I think it's Louise, the blonde. Yeah. And he's like, you'd be great on it. Call me when you get back. And it's just, you don't see it coming. I mean, you called it. You just called it, Tim. But I mean, watching it, you go, this guy, the homeschooled kid who's never been. What?
Concert pianist. He's like sitting there. You're watching him play the piano. I'm like, oh, yeah.
So you called it or you didn't?
Me? No, I didn't. I kind of figured, I said, something's got to happen here because never kissed a girl. And then there was the other guy that was standing next to him who's never had a girlfriend. I'm like, what? Never had a girlfriend.
You have the drama of Tom ahead of you, and I just envy that because he is a basket case.
Oh, I can't wait.
But Lukasz at the mansplain comes out and hits on, I think it's Mercedes. He says, I want to add you to my roster. I've realized I'm attracted to men as well, and I don't want any of the women here. I want you. So look me up.
I'm always hoping because I thought Garrett and Casey were kind of going to hit it off themselves.
Yeah. Right? The bromance. Well, Casey is one of the others who comes back.
Oh, I didn't know. So I saw Peter came back. Casey, Garrett. Okay.
Casey plays as a reformed nice guy. And the question on both of them, both of him and Peter, is are they reformed nice guys or are they F-boys pretending to be nice guys now? And it's just one of the fascinating little layers of how it works. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do with season 3 after the twist that they drop at the end of season 2, because they've received a lot of criticism, as I understand it, over the show framing everything as heteronormative relationships.
Right.
And they've started to break that mold and look at the other things they can do.
Right.
Which is part of that twist and part of the Lukash thing. So I'm interested to see what the next iteration of the show is.
Well, Robert, I'm just going to throw this in your path that if you want to host something at the Lounge of the End of the Universe and have an F-boy thing for me, I would. It's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it, and I hope it's me. If you want to set up a bunch of guys for me, I'd be very happy to sit there and try to pick one out.
Okay. So you're saying I need, let's see. So I need 8 guys.
Yeah.
4 of which are F-boys and 4 of which are nice guys.
Every time.
Yeah.
And you're willing to stay out here for a few weeks so we could whittle them down?
I would.
All right.
But if you have to do 4 F-boys and 4 F-boys, I'm fine with that too.
Okay, so you just want 8 F-boys to choose from? So we call it F-boy Island.
Yeah, right? But I love that we have that connection.
My hope is that Nikki Glaser discovers my adoration for the work that she's done here, and she wants to come talk to me about our reaction to the show.
I will be hashtagging the shit out of this. I will Google her everything. I will find out where she lives, and I will send her this.
I would say I know, but that would be creepy.
Yeah.
Well, how about we do a little improv? Now, Ike doesn't do improv. I have done very little improv. But from what I understand, the running rule for improv is and yes, or yes and.
Right. Well, everybody does improv. There's none of us that has a script on life, so you're improvising your way through this right now.
That's true.
This is true.
Surprise.
This is true.
So whatever situation or scenario we come up with, it's yes. You accept that and add to it and add more to it. So yes, and is a very interesting rule because it's applied in interesting ways, and the way I do it. Yes means we agree on the reality around us. We agree on the sandbox we're playing in. So you can't deny the reality of what's going on. But a lot of people think that yes and means you can never say no to somebody else on stage. And if your characters agree on the reality, the and is continuing to add information in the scenario, but you can have 2 characters that disagree with each other. Right.
You can literally go, I want to go to the store. No. And you're still yes-anding because the no, I don't want to go is a new piece of information.
Right.
Okay.
There's a whole lot of philosophy behind rolling.
So how do we do this, and how do we start, and what do we do?
Oh my. Okay. So
and just real short, like maybe 4 to 5 minutes or something like that.
Okay. Well, generally you take a suggestion, which is a location or relationship, something basic piece of information. And then you pretend you ever played Cowboys and Indians when you were a kid, or
I played Barbies.
There you go. I mean, you're playing Barbies, it's just a different form of improv.
Look what I could do.
Yeah. It's we both take on a character that may be close to ourselves, may be completely different from ourselves. There's different philosophies on what you do. So, like UCB's entire thing is don't play characters, just be yourself. Don't let me quote UCB.
Robert. We're gonna be where are we gonna be?
Sure. Give me a location.
A location, a volcano.
We're in a volcano over video chat. Okay. So inside a volcano.
Or near a volcano, that's about to erupt.
Volcano is our suggestion. All right.
Okay.
Welcome to my secret lair, both of you.
Oh, God. Has anybody seen my sheep? I'm Little Bo Peep, and I've lost it.
I was looking for my date. I think I stumbled on the wrong path.
Yeah.
Little Bo Peep.
Yes.
And looking for your date. And neither of you is a British super spy? Is that what I am to understand?
Not since my mother moved from Brooklyn.
Why would you think that, Cheerio?
Because I'm luring you here so that I can destroy both of you. As you can see, I am appearing over a video link. I am not actually present in the volcano.
Oh, I thought you were actually here.
You've stumbled into my trap.
Oh my God. Is that why this heat is coming up in my groin area?
Well, I mean, that could be a number of different reasons. But one of them would be the physical temperature of the caldera of the volcano around you.
No.
Rumble, rumble, rumble. Oh, goodness.
This can't be good.
This
can't be
beginning
good.
to erupt. You can see above you, the volcano itself is closing. See the steel blast doors?
Yes, I do.
However, will we get out of here?
You won't. You will die hideously. And as a bonus, Bo Peep, I'm assuming you are a virgin?
We'll go with that, yes.
Yes. Excellent. The natives will be happy that I've killed you and sacrificed a virgin to the volcano.
Oh, goodness.
Can I sleep with the sheep?
You can do whatever you want in the last moments of your lives.
Oh, and you will be spared, and I will be sacrificed to the volcano.
Yes, there's not much you can do, really, but wait for your demise. I do feel bad that you didn't find your date, however.
Well, that's all right, but there's nothing to eat down here.
Sheep?
Actually, you are kind of cute. You are kind of cute. Maybe we could date, we could have sex, and then neither one of us would get sacrificed to the volcano.
Well, the sheep is still looking good.
But I don't know. I'm kind of into the Bo Peep. You are of legal age, yes? You're like 19, 20?
We'll go with that, too.
Then now we've entered a realm that I'm not interested in. No! Back to the death and the sacrifice! Everything's rumbling. You can take the sheep, you may cook it over the flame, you may eat it in your final moments. Bo Peep, as much as I find you attractive, no, I'm not. No, you're going to burn horribly and hideously.
I just realized I'm a vegan.
Well, I mean, I solved the problem for you. You were able to eat cooked lamb, but now you don't want. My God, people, you are the entitlement.
Yeah.
You millennials.
I think it's all because I'm bi. I never know what I want.
Because you're bi?
I don't know what I want.
I'll let you out. You've got to be able to decide what you want in life before I end it for you. But the virgin, no. She's burning.
I'm free.
But, I mean, we have to find a way to let you out without letting her out, and we don't have a lot of time left for the lava rising.
I am the English spy. I fooled you.
But then it's a good thing you're still trapped inside the volcano. Since Bo Peep is the British spy, now I'm not going to be able to release you because I've got the spy and I can't risk her escaping. So unless you find a way.
Too bad.
Wait, what?
Too bad.
What? Did you get out?
Yes.
How did you get out?
It's the buy thing. I buyed my way out of it.
Capitalism.
And scene.
Robert, you are incredible.
Oh,
absolutely. I love it.
You're incredible. Yeah. Bo Peep, secretly British super spy. Thank you for endangering my legal status. I appreciate that.
So we have a few minutes and we're going to play a quick game.
Okay.
This game is called What is Robert Thinking? And Tim, our host, is going to explain how it's played.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you two choices and you decide what you prefer. Like he'll say hot or cold. Don't answer. And then we'll each write down what we think you're going to say. So if we say hot or cold, don't answer yet.
Do I have to prove what I was thinking, or do I just answer?
You just
I'm ready. What if
Are
you ready, Ike?
So, yep.
Oh, so you're not going to show me your answer.
So do you prefer hot or cold?
Cold.
Oh, really? I had you down for hot.
Nice.
Oh, we both said hot. Okay.
I spent enough time in Bakersfield in 115-degree weather.
Damn,
so that's how it's played.
Okay.
That's how it's played. And Tym and I keep score, and I usually lose, and Tym wins. So that's how it goes.
That's why I like this game.
Okay. George Carlin or Richard Pryor?
Oh, wow.
That's not fair.
I know. Wow.
I'm ready.
You
ready, Tym? Go ahead.
Yep.
If I got to choose, I got to go with Carlin.
Carlin.
Okay. Somebody asked me the other day, what's your favorite Richard Pryor bit?
Richard Pryor. Oh my God. What was yours?
After a lengthy discussion, I think we all landed on him and Chevy Chase on Saturday Night Live. With Chevy Chase playing word association.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
was
it's a historic moment in television where Pryor ends up going, dead honky.
Yeah. I remember it was
that's the best. You couldn't get away with it today.
Right? No way.
Right.
Although I try a little bit in my shows. Okay. Speaking of, let's try this. Second City TV or Saturday Night Live? Okay.
I'm ready.
See, I can tell you the history of both for several hours, and I'm always going to choose SNL.
Really? I had Second City.
Yeah, I knew you were both going to go that way. You asked me creative influences, I'm going to go John Belushi every time.
Yeah,
I quote Bill Murray a lot.
I love Bill Murray.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
One more.
I got a few.
Okay.
Los Angeles or New York City?
No, that's not fair. You guys are in New York. How do I pick one of those when you guys are in New York?
Now we'll see if we get it.
I'm going to choose LA.
I had New York.
Okay. So
I'm glad I don't have to explain rationale on it.
I'm in the lead. Not that I'm bragging.
I would love to spend more time in New York City, by the way.
Come. Batman or Spider-Man? Boy, if I could only see the back of your wall, which is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, those are comics.
Yep.
That's fierce.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks.
I'm ready.
So this one actually is problematic because people tend to identify me with Batman and they give me Batman gifts. So like and my keychain and my wallet. But one of my key creative influences is Spider-Man. So I have to go with Spider-Man.
I had Batman.
I think Ike knows me better.
You're more of a Batman man.
And a lot of people say that, but I've always, Spider-Man is how I got into comics, and Spider-Man is the sense of humor always got me.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Batman, the thinking and the contingency plans, there's great stories that go with Batman.
Oh, yeah.
But if I got to choose one or the other, I'm going to go with the sense of humor.
Well, Tym, I hate to break the news to you.
You can't win.
Right. And I don't want to brag about it, but thank you for playing, Robert. And thank you so much for coming on our show today.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm honored to be here. What was that?
Are there any Q&As?
No, actually, there were no Q&As.
Because sometimes people will send in a question and ask a question. So
nobody wants to know anything about me.
But
a lot of times relationship.
Yeah, we usually get advice.
Say, I have my, I'm with my wife for 20 years and something,
and I'm in a volcano.
Yes, with Little Bo Peep and
and I can't find my date. What do I do?
And Little Bo Peep's looking pretty hot.
Yeah.
But tell
she was 19. I established she was 19.
19. Well,
we'll go with that.
Yes, and
tell everybody, Robert, where they can find you.
Easiest place to find me is at Improv Robert. That's my Instagram. It has a lot of comic stuff. I've been teaching myself to draw, so there's the comics I've acquired. There's the stuff I've drawn. There's stuff, theater stuff, thingsincompany.com, Lounge Boise. thingsincompany.com. You can find me on Facebook. Things and Company has a Facebook page. I mean, I'm all over social media, and none of it's unified. So you can find me everywhere. Whether I'm there or not, I don't know.
Well, we appreciate you, and we're really so blessed that our paths crossed out in Boise when we were there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Back at you.
So
thank you, Robert Long.
This is where we wave goodbye, Robert, and FBoy, FBye.